Hello, we're back with Gunsmith Part 6, this time doing an AKM. Here is the finished build if you want to see the Mechanic Level 2 version, but there's an alternative for those that don't have Mechanic 2 yet. This is most notable because you get the GP25 recoil pad for the AKs, which will make your builds a little bit better. So let's get started on Prapor. We're going to go over to Prapor and buy an AKM from him. I'm just going to use the basic standard version from Prapor because it just makes it a bit more consistent to make sure, but you can use one in your stash so long as it has more than 60 durability. Now, the Mechanic 2 part for this is the Hybrid 46 suppressor. I'm going to use this in this build, use the Hybrid 46 direct thread mount adapter, and then on top of this, use the Hybrid 46 suppressor here. And we're going to use the barter as always. If you go on the flea market, there are 4 sticks of RAM for the barter. It's usually a lot cheaper. It's more like 40 to 50k rather than being 80k on the flea. Next, we're going to, on the handguard section, we're going to add the AK100, which you should now have unlocked because that was from Gunsmith Part 1. Which is just this one here. So I'm going to stick that on. And then we have to add the Fortis shift. There's nothing we can do about this. You're basically just going to buy it on the flea. Right now, it doesn't actually seem that much money, so it's not too bad. It's like 50k, which is all right for completing Gunsmith. Then the other required part that we have to do is put on the Gen M3, this one, the Magpul PMag 30 rounder. So we're going to stick that on the gun. Then another Mechanic 3 part is the saw pistol grip. Again, I'll give you an alternative in a moment if you don't have this yet, but we're going to stick the saw on for the time being because this is the easiest way to do it. Now, we need a little bit extra ergo on this build to make it work, so we're actually going to change the stock over to this one here. This is the AK-74 polymer stock. I'm going to put that on because it gives you 2 extra ergo. From here, we're going to add on the mount. Now, we're actually going to take off the rear sight as we usually do, but we're not going to use the Bastion today. We're going to use the other one, which is the dogleg rail dust cover, because this gives you a little bit more ergo, which allows us to complete the build a bit more easily. We then go into the sights. We need to pick one that's got 800 sighting range. I usually use this one, the Romeo 7, because it has 800 even though it's only a 1 times. It tends to be the cheapest option of the alternatives with 800 sighting range. So there we have it. If we go and select my weapon, which was this one, the Gunsmith one that we want to go and do, I can't assemble it because it's exactly the same as the one that I've built already. And this one is actually ready to hand into Mechanic. Now, I will show you very quickly the other alternative. If you don't have Mechanic 2, then you can do a very slightly different build. Some little differences that you can make. So obviously we need to get rid of the suppressor and we change this over to this one, the Rotor 43 muzzle brake compensator. We'll use that instead. Then we don't have the saw pistol grip. And with this to change build, you can just keep the AKM as a wood handle. There's no problem with that. And instead of the stock, you want to upgrade this to the UAS AK. Just buy this from the flea market. These are always pretty cheap, honestly. Like 24k, it's not that bad. Just stick that on instead. You can buy that. You can make it work, even if you don't have Mechanic 2. So we're going to go and hand in the AKM over to Mechanic, and we'll be back with Gunsmith Part 7.